Hi, second grade. Today's video is all about multiplication. Today we will learn to understand equal groups of multiplication. Today I will learn to relate equal groups to arrays, to redraw equal groups as arrays. So let's look at our application problem. You see there are 4 groups of lemons, and each group has 3 lemons. So let's read the application problem. Jordan uses 3 lemons to make 1 pitcher of lemonade. He makes 4 pitchers. How many lemons does he use altogether? So look at the picture again. You see there are 4 groups of lemons, and each group has 3 lemons. So if there are 4 groups of lemons, that's 4 times, if there are 3 lemons in each group, times 3 equals how many lemons altogether? 12. So Jordan is going to use 12 lemons altogether. I want you to keep this application problem in your mind as we continue on with our video. We are going to build onto this problem and make sure that you totally understand how to create multiplication problems with simple pictures, or, as we're going to see today, an array. Lesson 1, relate equal groups to arrays. So I've given you a picture with some circles, and I've labeled it to show you what we call a row and what we call a column. These are important that you're going to see pop up if I ask you how many rows or ask you how many columns. If you look where it says row, a row is going to go side to side. So there are, count with me, how many rows? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 rows. Now a column, on the other hand, as you see at the bottom of your screen, is up and down. So count with me. How many columns do we have? 1, 2, 3. So how many rows do we have again? 10. And how many columns? 3. That's correct. So let's apply this. Now I've given you the same picture over on this page, and so that you could see it and we can answer some questions with this. Now I want you to look at the picture, and I want you to tell me, what is the total number of circles? So if you look at it, we could sit there and count them all the way across. Now I would recommend that you take a piece of paper and you go row by row. So you would cover up all the other rows and only see the top row, and you would count 1, 2, 3. Now move the paper down to the second row. 4, 5, 6. Move it down again. 7, 8, 9. Move it down again. 10, 11, 12. Move it down again. 13, 14, 15, move it down again. 16, 17, 18, move it down again. 19, 20, 21, paper down again. 22, 23, 24, move it down again. 25, 26, 27, move down again. 28, 29, 30. So how many circles did we count all together as we were moving our paper down the screen and counting? Yes, you have 30 circles. There are 30 circles in all. This is the same exact picture that I had on the previous screen, except I've numbered it on the side for you. Now, second question, how many rows of 3 did you count? So if we remember, we learned where rows are and where columns are. So rows are starting at the top and counting down. So how many rows of 3 did you count? Well, again, you can take your paper, cover up all the other rows except the top row, and move it down and count your rows if you need to. All right, so cover it up. There's row 1, move it down. Row 2, move it down. Row 3, move it down. Row 4, move it down. Row 5, move it down. Row 6, move it down. Row 7, move it down. Row 8, move it down. Row 9, move it down. Row 10. So there are 10 rows of 3. Now here's the question, true or false? Remember, true means yes, it did happen, or yes, it's right, or false, no, it's not right. True or false? 10 rows of 3 equals 30. And remember, we learned this by counting, and it is correct, it is true. There are 30 circles. That means 10 rows of 3 equals 30. Now, I want you to keep thinking about the 2 screens back when we talked about lemons. Keep this in your mind. We're going somewhere. I think you've already figured out this is setting us up for multiplication. Question number 4. How could you write a repeated addition problem and multiplication problem using the circles? Now, let's talk about repeated addition. Remember last week, we learned about repeated addition, and we said multiplication is just simply repeated addition, adding the same number to itself to get an answer. So I want you to dust off that information you had from last week, and we're going to use it now. So how could we write a repeated addition problem for these circles? Yes, there are 3 circles in each row, and there are 10 rows. So that means you're going to add 3 10 times. So 3 plus 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 3 is going to equal 30. That's a long math problem to do, of course, and we know we're working towards multiplication. It's a lot easier for us just to multiply. So let's multiply, because that's the second part of the question that we have to answer. How would we write a multiplication problem? Now remember, we said that multiplication problems, you can flip-flop the factors, not the product. The product is the answer. You can flip-flop the factors. That's the 2 numbers that you are multiplying. So let me ask you, how many rows do you have? And you should have said 10. So 10 times how many in each row? Yes, there are 3. So 10 times 3 equals 30. Remember, we can flip-flop. So another way of writing would be, how many columns do we have? Remember, I taught you columns. Yes, there are 3 columns. And how many circles are in each column? 10. So 3 times 10 is 30. Those are flip-flop problems. We can flip-flop the factors, not the product. The product is the answer. You have to leave that alone. So 10 times 3 is the same as 3 times 10. So we could say 10 times 3 equals 3 times 10. It means it's the same thing. Good job, 2nd grade. Lesson 2, we're going to redraw equal groups as arrays. Now here's where you learn what an array is. Now what you see right here, this is an image, a picture. Now an array is a type of picture, and we're going to see that next. So we're going to apply this. Now again, I pasted the image onto your screen with the 3 circles, and in each circle there are 5 triangles. So 3 circles with 5 triangles in each. Now how can we redraw the image on the right, that's your circles, as an array with 3 rows of 5? Now an array is just simply pictures. I use squares. You could use circles. It's up to you. It's just simply pictures, but not as fancy as a circle with the triangles. It's just simple pictures. We don't want to take a lot of time. So I used rectangles or squares. You could use circles if you'd like. You want to keep it as simple as possible. So we need to draw 3 rows of 5. So again, remember, rows go side to side. Columns go up and down. So if we're going side to side, there's going to be 3 rows with 5 rectangles in each row. So that's what I've done for you. Now I'm going to ask you, how many do we have all together? Now again, you could take your paper and cover up my screen, cover up all the other boxes except the top row, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Move it down. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, move it down, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there are 15 rectangles all together. Now, second question, what is a multiplication expression to describe your array? Now I want to explain what a multiplication expression is to you. A multiplication expression does not have an equal sign. It's just simply the factors. So what is a multiplication expression to describe your array? If you look at that array, how many rows do you see? Yes, there are 3 rows. Times, how many rectangles are in each row? 5. So 3 times 5. That's your multiplication expression. No need to put an equal sign. No need to put an answer. You just need the factors. What are you going to write? Remember, an array is like a type of picture, not as fancy as the circles with the rectangles, the triangles, just plain old rectangles, squares, or circles and rows will do just fine. That's what we're looking for. Now, the last question I'm going to ask you is, how would we skip count to find the product? Now, you can look at this in our array. You can look at it in the image with the circles. You're skip counting. You're counting by fives because there are 5 triangles in each circle, or there are 5 rectangles in each row. You're just counting by fives. Whatever number you have in those circles, that's what you're counting for. By. So in this case, there are 5 triangles. Now, if there were 2 triangles in each circle, we'd count by 2. If there were 3 rectangles in each row, we'd count by 3. But in this case, there are 5. So we're going to count by 5. So let's get count together. Are you ready? Repeat. 5, 10, 15. Let's do it again together. 5, 10, 15. Again, 5, 10, 15. So could we venture a guess as to what 3 times 5 would be? Yes, it is 15. 3 times 5 is 15. Can you tell me? Here's a challenging question. What would be another multiplication expression that is the same as 3 times 5? Yes, 5 times 3. Remember, you can flip-flop those factors. So let's practice. On this page, I have given you 2 problems. The first one has some stars on it. It says, question A says, there are 4 rows of stars. Count your rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Thumbs up for that. You did a great job. Now, how many stars are in each row? Yes, there are 3. There are 3 stars in each row. Letter B, write a multiplication equation to describe the array. Uh-oh, here we go. Multiplication equation means there has to be an equal sign and an answer, a product. Remember, an expression, no equal sign, no product, no answer. Equation, yes, equal sign, answer, gotta have them. So how would we write this? Well, how many stars are in each row? Yes, 3. So 3 times how many rows? How many rows? 4. So 3 times 4 is 12 altogether. Or we could say how many rows? 4. How many stars in each row? 3. How many altogether? 12. So 3 times 4 equals 4 times 3. They are interchangeable. You can flip-flop them. Got to remember that. Do not mess with the product. The product cannot be moved. Number 2 says Judy collects seashells. She arranges them in 3 rows of 6. Draw Judy's array to show how many seashells she has all together. Then write a multiplication equation to describe the array. Remember, an array is not a fancy picture. No seashell drawings, please. Just circles, just squares, just rectangles or triangles. That is all you need. So she arranges them in 3 rows of 6. So there are 3 rows of 6. I put 3 rows of 6 purple circles. Now, we have to now write a multiplication equation. Remember, that has an equal sign and an answer. So how many rows do you have? 3. So 3 times, how many in each row? 6. 3 times 6 equals how many altogether? 18. Remember, we can flip-flop those factors. So 3 times 6 equals 18. Or how many in each row? 6. How many rows? 3. 6 times 3 is 18. 3 times 6 equals 6 times 3. Remember, they are the same. All right, second grade, you're doing an awesome job. This is the end of this video. Can't wait to talk to you in the next. Bye-bye.